Welcome to This Week in Rockford, episode 1 for October 20th, 2016. We're recording live at the top of the Rockford Trust Building, the model unit. So maybe next week we'll have some shots in here. But with me we've got Caleb Wilson, my co-host, and our guest, Jim Hagerty, returns with RockfordAdvocate.com.
Hello.
Hello, Jim. Welcome back.
Oh, thank
Welcome.
you. Yeah,
This week the people can see you.
Yes,
We got many demands after the release of the audio
Yes,
that
people-
we want to see this Jim Hagerty.
I got about 5 emails.
really 5.
Yes.
It's amazing.
I
5,
know.
a little bit
That's-
more.
That's about 5 more than I expected.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
5 more.
10 to 15 people called me.
Really?
I forget the exact number, but they said, "Who's that Jim Hagerty?"
And 42 people tweeted me.
Yes.
Yeah. They said, we want to see him in a bigly way.
In a bigly way.
Is
Wow.
did I use that word right? Bigly?
Is it a word?
Well, it's not really a word, but did I use the non-word right?
Our future president says it's a word. So,
Future president. So you think
a
he's going
word.
to...
right.
Wait, you think he's going to win or you want him to win?
Well, I'm going to probably vote for him.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a hater.
I mean, I'm not jumping up and down about his diction, nor his style, but
All right. Okay. So, bigly.
I'm not
Bigly.
I'm not looking for a Sunday school teacher as president either.
Did I use... True. Did I use the word right? Bigly?
Apparently. you did.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I got that.
If
All
it's
right.
worthy enough for a presidential debate, it's worthy enough for our show here. I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
you know,
This
and
is...
you are a very educated man, so
This is the Caleb Wilson show. No, I'm sorry. This is This Week in
This Week in
Rockford.
Rockford, yes.
Yeah, no, I call it
It's
the
not-
Caleb Wilson show. He doesn't like that. All right. Frankly, he wants
I'm
nothing
gonna,
to do with this.
I'm going to walk away from
that's
the
why
show.
you say
If
it.
it's,
Right.
That is exactly why I say it, Hagerty. You understand me perfectly.
I do.
All right. First topic this week, Cubs and Cub fans. Caleb added this. Caleb, what is your problem with Cubs fans?
you have to cut this part out.
Well, I'm not sure I can just clip the whole thing, but all right, we'll clip that trim. But,
All right.
but Caleb, what's the deal with Cubs fans?
That's the deal with Cubs fans right there.
What's that?
No, I
Did
don't
I
have
pull
a...
a hat out that I haven't had a baseball hat in eternity? And
Exactly.
the Cubs hat is now there in the
Winning, yep.
NLCS.
That is right on. That's why I don't like Cubs fans.
Right, yeah. They're playing now as I think first pitch. What time is it?
No, I thought they had tonight. Do they have
No,
tonight?
they play tonight.
Oh, they play again tonight?
They play. I
Oh.
think it's 7 o'clock or something tonight. But
Oh,
In
okay.
L.A., I think, right?
Oh, wow. All right. Maybe. Yeah, they must still be in
When
there.
you're the guy
And
with the hat, you have to.
I don't want to
know these things.
umbrella Cubs fans. You know, I mean,
You are seriously backpedaling on this, but all right.
no, I'm
Well-
not. I don't have a problem with every single Cubs fan. You act
Oh,
like
okay. Okay.
I don't have a problem with every single Cubs fans. Just
It's not how it sounded when we talked privately, but that's
Just
fine.
a
That's
lot
fine.
of 'em.
This is a non-issue. We're going to move on. All right, now we're getting into the real stuff. Jim
Hagerty's
I've
beard.
covered. Yeah,
Yeah,
well, no, I was including everything I said also in the category of not quite the real stuff. Now we're into the real stuff. Clock tower shootings. What is going on with that, Caleb?
what is going on? I mean, I heard it was a party.
It's a party.
It was
There
a
was
private
a private party, and somebody gets shot. I guess there was a death. Somebody died, and then there's a couple of injuries too. And I think there's 2 other people that are in the hospital that were supposedly in critical condition too. Right?
That's right. Yeah. 4 wounded seriously, I think, and 1 dead. I'm going to say 3 things, maybe 4, 2 of which are less important, 2 of which are somewhat important. But the first one is, I don't know if either the new chief or Gary Caruana had reason to be out there in riot gear. We know Gary Caruana is a fine-looking man from
Yes.
episode
Yes.
0. From episode 0, we know that. Secondly, I don't know how this affects Johnny Emerald III's desire to save the clock tower. You know Johnny Emerald III?
Well, I know the name.
You know the name?
Sa-
Downtown.
saving the clock tower is a.
Yes, that's a song of his. So I don't know how that.
I mean,
relates.
I'm not very, totally familiar with the catalog, but I do know that Stone and Double T actually, I think, physically climbed it and made it work for a time on the air. I think it's part of it.
And
was.
it's not working now,
And
is
then
it?
now
That is
stopped.
really funny. Now it's not working again. And somebody told me, we were talking about this a couple of weekends ago, and somebody said, "Oh, I think that thing is fixed." And I said, no, now it's broken. And I said, it was never fixed. And they said, yeah, it was fixed for a while. And I didn't believe it.
Yeah, that's a...
Talk about an eyesore coming off 90.
Well,
You know?
it's one of those buildings that really has marginal use in today's world. I think it's...
Yeah. So...
I mean, it used to have a beautiful tennis center out there. It was nice.
Yeah, no, it was, I mean, the place to be for a while. So the two actual somewhat more serious things I'm going to say are, A, this seems like a substantial shift in crime to the east side. I mean, recently, there's just been a ton of crime on the east side rather than downtown. We'll come back around to that in the kind of serious topic discussion, but the other thing is, and I think this is somewhat interesting, several of the crime stories lately have had some tether to RHA residents, whether it be that they were victims, whether it be that they were perpetrators. We'll pick it back up on that thread. I'll kind of put all those pieces together, but that is an unusual kind of just small worldish thing, or lots of links back. So we'll pick up on that maybe on another episode. Jesus sighting downtown. Hager, did you hear about this?
Well, I know I got a couple guys named Jesus.
That's what I assumed people were
Hispanic
talking
men.
about. But in fact,
I mean, it did.
we'll put the picture with the show notes. So Crystal at Wired reports and took a picture, and now Caleb saw this guy
I
too.
do.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's a guy who looks like Jesus.
We don't. I mean,
Well, I don't
It
know.
could be.
I didn't know Jesus, but
I mean,
no.
no,
But
the-
he's garbed like Jesus, and
Okay.
apparently has a. How long is this guy's beard, Caleb?
it's pretty long. I've seen it.
It's a long beard. And is he a Middle Eastern guy?
No, what does that have?
Well, Jesus is a Middle Eastern man.
You don't think he's blonde hair, blue eyed as depicted usually?
I wouldn't think.
No?
He is.
Okay.
No. I don't think he's African, so I would probably deduce that he looks like he's an Israeli,
Well, he's walking around Rockford.
and he's in Rockford.
I didn't see his face. I only saw him. He was walking away from me.
Yeah. So maybe Willie the Watchman can
Well, that's right.
keep an eye on Jesus
Yes.
for
That
us.
has not been that Facebook page, by the way, has not been updated, and Jesus Correa still says it's not him. So
He still denies. Are you drilling deeper on this?
I'm trying to drill deeper on it. It's just no oil yet, but it's,
All right.
as soon
You'll
as
get
it
there.
springs, it's
You'll
going
get
to be
there.
a hot story for the Lost News team.
You'll get there. You'll get there. Other important things: the MC5 from episode 0, MC5, Motor City 5, the band that I confused with the
EB5.
EB5, the financing, the financing visa program versus the band. MC5 came up in the editorial board's commentary I think in the last couple of days. They were talking about now that Cheap Trick is in the Hall of Fame, who else should be in the Hall of Fame? And then they identified this year's current nominees, and they identified prior nominees, and they listed MC5. So in the show notes, we're going to put, and it actually bears out what I said, that these guys were like somehow militant liberal activists that, yeah.
These MC5 guys were.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, even more liberal than Hillary
So,
Clinton.
pretty
I think.
much a funk act.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I didn't register
Yeah.
who you were talking about in the first episode, because I've known
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
But as long as we're not going to hammer away on the Cheap Trick in the Hall of Fame anymore,
Yeah.
because I might leap out the window.
Why? Okay. Why do you say that?
Well, I mean, I love the guys. Great musicians, good guys. But I mean, I think Rockford collectively needs to understand that they just didn't come out, and their accomplishments, should. I mean, it's something. It's their accolades that really accomplishments that really need to be championed. But let's move on from a rebranding campaign of a very old.
I could. Yeah.
So you're saying they're old, like they're old news.
They're not old news, but I think for any entity to jump on board with this rebranding of Cheap Trick, putting up street signs with an old album cover on it is a little over the top. I think if that's all we have is the accomplishments of Cheap Trick to get people to come here, then we might be treading water in a sea of mediocrity.
Yeah, if we're leading with that may be a problem. Mediocrity mostly, right?
Yes.
I would say
I agree.
And
Contributes to mediocrity
if I
mostly.
to their credit, if I was in the band, I might be thinking along those lines. We got buildings like this going on. We have the things in Rockford that, I mean, there's 4 guys in Cheap Trick that have done some great things, and
And then the street signs, some of them were found to be not proper by IDOT, right?
Yes, I don't know how that happened. Who missed the
Wait a
who
minute.
missed the boat on that one?
Did
Because
you, I thought maybe you called it in.
well,
You called IDOT.
I wouldn't have called it in. I wouldn't have dreamed that someone would have done that. I mean, why don't we just hang Christmas lights on stoplights while we're at it? I mean, that's why those laws exist. And I think the reaction of the city was kind of priceless. How dare you tell us we can't put our pictures of our favorite sons on somewhere where they don't belong? Come on.
I see our first debate shaping up. It's not going to be a mayoral debate, though it will involve one of the candidates. It's going to be Brian Leggero versus James Hagerty on the issue of Cheap Trick induction as a noteworthy matter.
Yes. Yep.
That's a noteworthy matter. I don't think it's. I think
It's not that noteworthy. It's like a 6 out of 10, not a 9.
It was noteworthy at the time.
Okay.
But to have a major marketing campaign to attract people to Rockford because Cheap Trick is now in the Hall of Fame is really, in my opinion, sidestepping other things that.
Okay.
I mean, if I was a member of Cheap Trick, I might be scratching my head saying, hey, I mean, there's a lot more things about my hometown, maybe as Rick Nielsen, other than me. Because when I see Rick Nielsen at the grocery store, he doesn't have his guitar on him, and he's not, doing solos in the aisles.
No, that's true. No,
He's just doing what I'm doing,
He's buying peas. Right? Okay.
No, I mean, they're great guys, great band. I used to listen to Cheap Trick when I think I was like 9 years old. Great band. And now I live in Rockford and see those guys around once in a while and see them
cool.
play. But, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
All right. Next topic, Ziock taxes to round out last week's discussion. The question was, how much does Gorman pay for taxes on the Ziock
Did you
building?
find out?
Yes.
I did $2,550 for 2015, $2,550.
Great.
There may be an adjacent lot. I didn't even look at that. It's just a little tiny triangle that was somehow a separate lot. But yeah, for the main building, it looks like $2,550. So yeah, they're not paying a ton of taxes. The word on the street I got from a somewhat reliable source today, not to discredit the source, just I think it was secondhand to him, but I believe the chain, is that Gorman is going to turn dirt on the site in March. It may be sooner, March of 2017. It may be sooner, but they are aware that there is public discontent with them continuing to say, we're going to do something, we're going to do something. So they said March to give themselves a 2-month buffer.
Okay.
So we will be at episode, I don't know what, 30-something by then, probably. Well, we're going to come back. We're going to see what they're doing in March.
Well, and they said that they're going to start in March.
Yeah, well, they're going to turn dirt. I mean,
could
for that matter, you and I could go out there with a
So
shovel.
they're going to go. Yeah, exactly. So they're going to have.
Could it be though that somewhere in the world a group of people exist who may be told that the project is already underway? That's a good question. Maybe you can ask sources that.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because
if we
I know
find
I
that
am.
out. Yeah, we'll see if we find out. So
And
to clarify, the person characterized it as turn dirt. I can't necessarily say that that's exactly what the Gorman person said
Okay.
to
Well,
somebody.
I want to know if where the money is. It's
Well-
a $67 million project, and to me, this is basically just what I'm seeing is at least a $22 million shortfall here, because he can only put $33 million in EB5 money in there, and what at one point was $12 million in tax credits. Where's the rest of the money coming from?
Is there some TIF money,
Now,
maybe?
there might be.
There's probably some private equity, and
there's not even any-
some equity that has to be thrown in by Gorman, maybe, right?
Could be. Well, I don't know. He's not. I don't know.
That's a pretty widespread.
Hotel loans.
I agree, that's a widespread.
Hotel loans in today's day and age are very hard to come by, and the ones that do exist are not for 22 or $30 million. They're 5, 10, 15 maybe, because the market's not there in most places. So you're looking at a loan where 30% equity might be required on the part of a developer on a $67 million project. That's a lot of money. And where the rest of the financing is coming from this shaky program where money is in escrow, it can't even be released. I don't know how they're going to pay for this.
Right.
We can talk about this until the day they build it.
No, I agree. It's a challenge. I think we should have somebody from there on this show, along with Brian Leggero, to talk about Cheap Trick and being the mayor.
He's going to be the next mayor of Rockford. Watch.
Brian Leggero?
He thinks so. And
Well, hey, man, he's like a local hero. He carried
is.
the petitions.
Personally.
That's what I've heard. Yes.
Yes, he would love to come on. He is
Himself.
Actually,
Hold on. He carried him himself.
yes, he actually.
Did he walk him
Why?
in?
What's-
Did he
He did.
walk him in? And that reminds me, I forgot the MC5 song. I can't use the full name because it involves yet again that profanity. But
Oh, yeah.
kick out the jams, blank blank. So anyway, yeah,
Yeah,
that
Brian
reminds me of
McGarrett
that
actually
song.
has
So
a-
did he walk in there and was like
Somewhat.
and says
He may have
says
not-
that word? Here
What?
you go.
I think he'd been in contact with the Hall of Fame for at least a year or so, because he used to work. I mean, he has a really interesting past. He really does have he did have a successful career in the music business as a producer, engineer.
Right.
So he hunted down some of his old colleagues and found out exactly where to get a hold of the committee. And he just started communicating with them. So yeah, he's going to be the people's mayor. He's a hometown hero himself.
That's true, man.
He'd come on.
He carried the petitions.
Yeah,
All right. So we'll have him on. The Rocky Horror Show. Let's talk about what's coming up on, other than on the show. We've got coming up in Rockford, the Rocky Horror Show. Have you
that?
seen The Usual Suspects?
Yes.
Yeah.
The movie?
No. The production group from around here.
No.
They do like theater stuff.
Really?
Yeah,
Who's involved in that?
they're good. I don't know all their names, but
It's not the old West Side showroom guys, is it?
no, that's Mike Werkel, and
Yes,
I know
it is.
Mike. In fact,
So
we should
get
have
him
Mike
on.
on. We are going to have Mike on because
In
Mike,
drag.
as a chicken.
Yeah, something. He'll
Well, yeah, you want him on as a vampire lesbian of Sodom, or do you
Something
want
like
him
that.
on as a chicken?
I mean, he'd do either. He's a very.
Oh, Mike is a
very
brilliant guy.
accommodating
No,
guy.
Mike is a good friend. In fact, I've communicated with him recently. I think the West Side Showroom will be reborn.
Back somewhere?
Reborn? Yes, it'll be back somewhere.
I mean,
so,
I would love that.
so the Usual Suspects would be a competitor to the West Side Showroom, but we all love each other. I mean, in that market, right? So everybody doing good things. Anyway, Usual Suspects. I know they did last year the Rocky Horror Show. I heard great reviews. I talked to somebody who saw it earlier this year, so I just wanted to give kind of a shout out. They're doing it October 21st, 22nd, 28th, and 29th.
So they start tomorrow.
Well, no, they've already started.
Okay.
And I heard this year's production is very good, just as last year's was. But I just wanted the past dates. I can't help anybody that they're gone.
Yeah.
Caleb, I don't have a time machine, so I can't help people. Maybe somebody else does. If they can go back, I think they did it last weekend, was opening weekend. So the 14th, 15th, maybe.
Who's involved in that?
Well, I don't know. I
Where
don't know
where
names.
does it take?
I
where does
hardly
it
know
take?
names.
Where does it take place?
At the Nordloff.
Okay, that's
well,
what
I
I
don't know
figured.
where the Rocky Horror Show stuff happens, but where it is performed
Produced and-
locally here is at the Nordloff. Yes.
Okay.
Do
Really?
you know the Nordloff, owned by the Rockford Public Library?
Yes.
Oh,
Pretty
can I say
beautiful.
library? Okay,
What did you say?
You may
I
have.
said library.
It's all right.
I say library. All right. Ice Hog's home opener.
Saturday night.
Oh yeah, check the show notes for Usual Suspects website, and that has better details.
Make sure that's not the movie with who's in that?
Was-
Kevin Spacey.
Yes,
and,
I love Kevin Spacey movies, but I didn't see The Usual Suspects.
You didn't see that movie?
No.
Oh, you've got to see it. I mean, it's probably 20 years
That's
old
not
now.
the one with Kaiser Soze, is
Yes,
it?
it is.
Oh, that is the Kaiser Soze. Then I did see it.
Yes,
I thought
okay.
that was a different
That's what
movie.
I thought you were talking about. I still have that in my head now.
Yeah.
I'm about to watch it tonight.
Yeah. Well, okay. Mac table. No, I don't know. Kaiser Soze. So that's
I haven't seen it.
Beautiful. You'll love it. You'll love it.
Oh, you haven't
very
seen it?
funny.
No.
It is
I
good.
think it's a book.
I think
So,
I think
don't
it
worry
is a
about the
book.
Just go watch.
okay. So
So,
aside from
Are you telling me not to read, Hagerty?
No, don't
Okay.
worry about the book.
why see the book when you can watch the movie?
That's right. You know,
That's what Jake the Snake Morgan taught me, our producer, who was not here tonight.
he's headed for big things in his life.
Yeah, he is.
He
What
is.
is
Well,
he?
he's smart. He
What is
cuts
he?
right to the
17.
chase.
He already has that down. I mean, come on.
I know. Yeah, he's got that figured out.
So what's coming up this weekend for you, Hagerty?
Ice Hawks Saturday, Friday, and Sunday, I believe it is. Opening
Friday.
night-
They play tomorrow night.
No, excuse me, Saturday and Sunday. Boy, I'm really on top of things here.
Well, I need to be careful with time references because if we put this on the interwebs on Friday, which would be tomorrow relative to when we're taping,
Well, October
we mean
22nd.
Saturday,
October
Saturday the
22nd.
22nd
Is
is
the home
a
opener.
home opener. Sunday, they're also at home.
Are they playing the Milwaukee Admirals?
I believe they're playing the Milwaukee Admirals on Saturday night.
Nice. So,
How are they looking so far?
A good mixture of young guys, a couple of fringe guys that people thought would make the big club. Mark McNeil's back. He actually spent the whole camp with the Hawks. Brandon Mashinter actually came back after spending almost a whole year last year in Chicago. It's just a mixture of young guys to fill in some gaps, but almost the whole crew is back. Core group that were there last year. Your Jake Dowell, captain's back of last year. Of course, fan favorite PC Labrie. Some other guys are coming up from Indy, so should be a good season.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, that's good, man. I'm excited. It's fun to watch them. I'll be in to see the Blackhawks a couple of times this year. I think that's great too.
And they're doing well. A couple of Ice Hogs are doing really well. Really well. Ryan Hartman scored his first goal. Vinny Hinestroza is playing real well. Dennis Rasmussen, another guy. I mean, these guys that were fan favorites in the last couple of years in Rockford.
How does Tanner Kuro?
Tanner Kuro's a great kid. He's a guy. He's here. He's actually from the UP of Michigan. He opened up the season last year in Chicago, played 15, 16 games, and now he's here. He started out real hot last year, beginning of the season.
The new challenge is to get Hagerty to elicit from Hagerty some fact about the UP or some connection to the UP in every episode he's on now.
Would you like me to do that? Well, it's funny.
Well, I don't know.
All
The
these
Wild
connections.
Rhubarb people, UP. Yeah.
Tanner Kuro. But Tanner
UP.
Kuro went to Michigan Tech, which is also in the UP. He's an interesting guy. And he's married. It's really funny. I found out he's from Hancock, Michigan. He went to college there at Michigan Tech, and I think his wife. I think they met high school sweethearts, but all of them, both of them, grew up there, married there, and now they're in Rockford.
Wow.
And it seems like they're following me down here. I don't know.
At
every turn, I meet somebody from
They're up
the
there.
UP.
Well, they're up there in the UP, and they're talking, and they're saying, we want
Where's
to go
Hagerty?
somewhere.
I thought I was
we
the
want to go
only
somewhere.
guy.
Well, I heard Hagerty's in Rockford.
I thought I was the only guy
Go
from
there.
the UP to ever live here.
No.
It's like
For a long time I was.
Where's Hagerty?
Where's Hagerty?
I don't think they missed me up there. But I didn't go to Michigan
Oh, they
Tech.
think that's a good thing. They're like, well, where should we move? Well,
I went
Jim
to Northern
Hagerty went to
Michigan.
Rockford. We're going there.
Yeah. Well, I went to Northern Michigan where our hockey team actually did win the national championship.
NMU?
Something Michigan Tech did not. NMU, yes. Not in the time I was there. Yeah, no, they did. 1991.
Wow.
Champs.
Wow. That's a big
Couple
deal.
NHLers on the team back then. Yeah.
Wow. That's a big deal. All right.
So, yeah, hockey. This
So
weekend.
hockey this weekend. Ice Hogs coming up. So you go to how many of the home games? Like most of them?
I go to most of them, yeah.
Great.
Unless I've got high school basketball or something like that to cover. It conflicts. I usually try to juggle it. But I'm at all the home games and a couple of away games. I'll sometimes go up to Milwaukee or to the Wolves games at Allstate. Those are kind of cool.
Nice. All right. So we will look forward to knowing more about the Ice Hogs this year.
To have a couple on.
Yeah,
We'd
we
love
should.
to.
Yeah.
Can you do that? They don't
You
know
can.
me.
Yeah,
Well,
they don't
Will
know
they
me.
come on our little show?
I want to see you.
All right.
Try.
Crime shift to the east side. Hagerty, agree, disagree?
I agree that crime is shifting to the east side.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
agree. I mean,
I-
agree that there's lots of bad things happening on the east side.
Well, I think there's a definite message that crime is spreading to the east side because there's certain things about certain other areas of town we don't want to talk about. So it's easy to say crime is shifting to the west side and just forget about what's happening maybe a block from where we're sitting. I don't know.
I haven't
Wow.
heard any big news about shootings or deaths
In the- in
on
here.
the west side though lately.
Well, I mean, there's probably more crime over there that's being reported than usual.
Well, I think they're at two places that a lot of people
Sure.
frequent
Yeah.
quite a bit. I mean, that's Cherryville Mall and the Clock Tower, where at least there's a bus station at the Clock Tower that a lot of people use. I mean, they had to report on those things because there's a lot of people that visit these two
What about-
locations. So
What about Woodman's? I don't know that a lot of people go to Pancheros. Maybe this isn't fair. I haven't
There
been to
was a
Pancheros.
robbery there, and I
Yeah.
think, I think, in all fairness, there are some things going on in Rockford where, people are shooting at each other and not caring where the stray bullets fly. Yeah, and over on the east side at a mall, obviously that's going to be a little bit, more serious of a public type of event than, an isolated shooting on a vacant lot on the west side, so to speak. I mean, it's not any more or less significant.
So
But
you think
I think public safety wise, a shooting at a mall has a
okay? So you think it's just more news has been made of it because of the high visibility of the locations.
Somewhat, yes.
Okay.
I mean, Rockford's trying to be something, and it's trying to turn its downtown into something. And what a great way to use a crisis that's happening somewhere away from that. I mean, as a marketing guy, that kind of stands out to me as a way not to waste a crisis over there. No, I'm not making light of a shooting a fatal shooting inside of a hotel. I mean, it's horrible. Apparently this victim was a guy who had some problems. And he's in the process of putting his life back together. He gets killed in a gang.
Yeah, that's tragic. That's all
Very
tragic.
tragic deal. But I think there's always been crime out there. There's always been crime down here. And I see it.
All right.
But you live down here. I mean, what do you see?
I haven't seen huge amounts, or at least the same amount of crime down here as what seems like it's been in the past. I mean, I'm sure it still goes on, but I mean, at the same time, I think it definitely is some sort of a shift right now, or at least there seems like has been more crime. I remember a couple months ago, there's a gas station that got robbed too out there somewhere. I believe there's a gas station that gets robbed. There's a road ranger on East State that gets robbed, that has been robbed before in the past too. I mean, so I don't think it's nothing new, but I mean, there's been these two major events that have taken place that are in really big visible areas, like Jeff said, though, at the same time.
They're visible areas, and I think it's a combination of things. What's going on? I'm not blaming anybody for misreporting what's going on.
Okay, so you think it's factually accurate, obviously, but
I think so, but I think it's there's a lot of criminal fiefdoms running around Rockford that are, like I said, they're shooting away and don't care where the bullets go.
all right. Back to an earlier topic, we have Chris Souza here. I'll let Caleb see that.
There he is.
That is pretty close.
I don't see it.
If I saw this guy in the street, I might think it were Caleb.
Telling you.
We'll put the link up. This won't be big enough for the folks at home to see, but we'll put the link up. So you can see Souza on the show notes. So yeah,
He'd probably love to come on.
he looks definitely more like Caleb than not.
He's an exciting player. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you told me look up LeBron James. He looks like Caleb. I mean, it's not like that at all. So yeah.
Yeah, D'Souza he's an exciting player. I mean, I have a little bit of an affection for these shorter guys that are playing pro sports, especially hockey, because it's their only hope.
That's an interesting way to put it.
What do you have for him?
I have an affection for short hockey players because it's our only hope to do anything. I mean, unless you're a great golfer or something. But even nowadays, you got
To do anything in general or to do anything in sports?
in sports. I mean, I just think you see a 5'9" guy playing pro hockey, man. I mean, I'm rooting for the guy. I want him to take a poke at
Sure,
a 6'4" dude. Fight him. I don't care. You lose.
Yeah.
And D'Souza's not afraid to do that. So get him on here. He'll show you how to.
We'll have him on here.
He'll show you how to scrap in bars. I don't know. I mean,
Oh, that's nice.
he's
man.
not-
Oh,
he's
yes.
not out
we
doing
are.
that.
Oh, we are so doing that.
He's not out doing
No,
that.
I'm
These
sure
guys
he's
can
not
get in a lot of
because
trouble.
I'm sure the NHL and AHL
Yes.
discourage all that.
But if you
Yes.
wanted some pointers on
But
how
if
to
I
deck somebody,
theoretically needed to
Sure.
know this information,
he's the guy to talk to. And there's a guy that he played with last year named Mike Ambus, who's now back on the Admirals. Those two on the ice were pretty exciting last year, and he'll be here this weekend. Maybe they'll go at it. I don't know. For old time's sake.
That'd be interesting. Maybe they do.
we don't have a penalty box though, so we better only have on one at a time. One at a time.
Well, they'll go out on the ice, maybe. Yeah.
All right.
We'll see what happens.
Cubs update: 1-0. Cubs leading at the top of the second.
Second.
Yeah,
Long
top of
night.
the second. Yeah, long night ahead. So, all right, back on track. So, BMO usage. So, everybody, in the pre-show, we were talking about the Steve Miller concert.
I didn't go to it.
Why would you?
After Steve Miller's rant at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last year.
here we go.
I boycotted. No,
Here we go.
I like Steve Miller. He's great. But I didn't go to the show. There's all these shows that show up. Well, not all of these, but some of them will come up, and I really kind of wish I could have gone to, and I didn't. That's one of those shows I really like to see because he has an HBO special that's really awesome. The guy is a very talented guy. I mean, he's one of those artists though that with the radio just completely pummeled him by playing the Joker 45 million times. It's one of those times where I want to call the radio station and scream, the guy did other stuff,
Right.
and he's a very good guitar player, very good artist. And I missed it. I don't know why I even had to say that. I interrupted your entire
No,
segue.
no. I'm just teeing up. I mean, that was a good example. I went to the Steve Miller concert. I was a little shocked that the place was, I don't know, maybe half empty at least.
Really?
Maybe 2/3 empty.
Well, that brings me to
If you can't sell Steve Miller in Rockford, you got a problem. But go ahead.
Using Cheap Trick again, where people would say Rockford. I mean, Cheap Trick can't even sell. They're not even that big anymore. Cheap Trick can't even sell out the Metro Center, so they have shows at the Coronado. Well, I'm to the point where I don't think Bruce Springsteen could sell out the BMO. I mean,
Really?
that's just me.
Really?
You know, I mean, I think it's a great event. I think Rave does a good job.
All right, but wait a minute, though. Why would you say that? I mean,
Why
some
didn't
bands are
Steve
still-
Miller sell it out? I mean, was it on a bad night?
I don't know. I think it was maybe a Thursday. I don't remember. It was not. I don't think it was a weekend night. No, maybe it was a Friday.
No, I think it was a Thursday. It
was a Thursday. I think it was a Thursday.
Yeah,
And well, I don't know. I mean, like Rush is still playing pretty good size venues and filling them.
They were done.
Well,
I'm talking about-
no, you're right. They're done now. You're right. The last tour. You're right. They're done now.
But they
At least Neil says he's done. I guess we'll find out.
But we never got Rush here. I don't think since I've been in Rockford.
No, but I mean, is your point that not that Rockfordians wouldn't go to see Bruce Springsteen, or that a lot of bands can't fill a venue that size?
I don't know, but you should be able to fill a band that size. I would hope. I would think Cheap Trick could sell out that place. Did Kiss sell it out? I don't know.
I think that it sounded like it was packed.
All right, so there are some. Maybe I stand corrected. I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking.
Maybe we need more bands that put on makeup and have like a glam show.
No, that's a terrible
Kiss
idea.
is another one of those bands that I could just completely laugh at this point. I mean, I think they're great. They've done a great marketing. They've done great marketing their brand over the years. But it's just Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley and two other guys. Their drummer, Eric Singer, has actually been with the band for a long time, on and off, for like 20 years. But, I mean, I don't know. Come up with some new stuff.
Exactly.
What's your position on AC/DC then?
Well, they're great, but I think they're probably falling apart at this point. I mean,
Well,
yeah, as a matter of fact, with Angus Young, it was awesome. I didn't think it would be that good.
all right.
I didn't think that guy could ever sing again after what he went through, his throat problems and his,
Yeah.
putting together that really kind of horrible version of Guns N' Roses that he actually toured with for a long time. I really thought he was off the rails. But, yeah, GNR's back together.
Position on Guns N' Roses.
Great band.
We'll get back to Rockford stuff in a second, but we have to discuss this. Position on Guns N' Roses. Great band.
Yeah, great band. Came on the scene really, really, really fast. I mean, these guys were nobodies. And then they literally were playing clubs one day and then playing in front of 150,000 people in Russia the next. I mean, they literally got big that fast. And in one summer.
Yeah, Caleb, this was before your time, but it was a
It
pretty
is
epic,
huge.
epic freshman album. I mean, yeah.
Just awesome.
Appetite for Destruction is a beyond belief kind of album that in terms of first album performance, and a consistently good album start to finish.
Yeah, I thought they were great.
It's my contention that they are technically, by the numbers, the best rock and roll band of our generation.
You think so?
Yeah.
Better than Bon Jovi?
Far better. Well, better both as a matter of taste and style, and better as a function of skill.
no.
Of skill. What? Wait a minute. All right, let's start with this. Is Slash a better guitarist than Richie Sambora?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they're the same. Richie Sambora has a good style. Richie Sambora is the most talented guy in Bon Jovi. I will say that.
Yes.
Slash is a great blues player. I mean, I've seen him on his other acts. No, Guns N' Roses are great guys. I mean, yeah, they did these 3-chord tunes, but they're very good, very talented guys. Yeah, they're one of my favorites.
Who's your favorite rock band? And then we'll stop this
My
discussion.
favorite rock
and move
band
back
of
to
all
rock.
time. Oh my word!
Yeah, of all time.
I don't know, rock and roll band.
Yes.
Does that include like heavy metal, all
Yeah, you
genres?
can include heavy metal.
Oh boy, that's really kind of a tough
In fact, I think it's telling
That's really
where
a tough question.
where in the spectrum you choose your band. All right, you work on that for the next time we have you on, and we'll have that conversation.
I can tell you the top 5, but I won't do that now.
No, we'll do that. We'll save that for the end of this episode, and then we'll debate. That'll give me some time. Then next time we'll debate the merits and demerits of those. But for tonight, we're going to get back to election face-offs in Rockford. All right, so face-offs, and I kind of envision the Nicolas Cage John Travolta movie with
the
their
ripping of
the
see
face
that?
getting swaps. Yeah, you didn't see this?
No,
Kevin?
I didn't. No.
Oh, beautiful.
Election face-offs.
Yeah. Very
So-
well written movie.
I'm envisioning. Well, I don't want to name any candidates. I'm just envisioning some of them with their faces switched. So, okay. All right. So for mayor, we've identified 4 candidates, right? We've got, let's see, we've got Tom McNamara, we've got Rudy Valdez, we've got Brian Ligero, and Pam Connell.
We do 4.
4. Any more?
Not that I know of, unless you're going to run.
Just 4?
I hear of one more.
I think that's why
Who's that?
Caleb created the show. Caleb wants to run. That's
No,
why he
I do not want to
created
run.
This Week in Rockford. It's his platform to run.
No way.
He's going to run bigly.
Who's going to?
I heard this independent guy running. His name's Nathan Ariave.
Really?
Yeah, seriously.
For mayor?
Are you really being serious?
No,
or are
I'm
you
being
jacking me
serious.
around?
No, I guess he picked up a petition to start getting signatures to be on the ballot.
Fantastic. We'll have him on the show too.
He's the 5th one.
Great.
I don't know much about him.
So-
I don't know what
so-
he's. I do know a little bit about him, but I don't know what he's running on, what his platform is, or what he's.
So the independent, I won't say party, but I guess it is. Is an interesting animal in Rockford.
That lane in the political road, let's say.
You know,
yeah.
and now there's laws, that kind of restricts what independents do.
Yeah, it's challenging. It is more.
But
It's a more
I-
challenging route.
I don't understand it. I mean, from what I see, what I see here. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from, Pam Connell or Brian Ligero, but it's going to be very difficult for them to actually get on the ballot, or actually, face off against either one of Tom McNamara or Rudy Valdez. The way I see it now, because what you have here is you have a mayoral election that's basically giving you options of which developer you want to vote for, or which group of developers you want to work for. Because you have some, I mean, right now, from what I see, you have one group of Democrats over here being run by Republicans, and then you have an old school Democrat over here running the same kind of traditional Democratic campaign, which is going to be a kind of a labor-driven type of campaign you'll see from McNamara. So.
Okay.
Either one is going to have to protect interests, downtown development, and other areas of town, because that's all Rockford really has right now.
Okay. And what do you see as possible ends for Connell and Ligero? I mean, any levers they can use to basically improve their position in the race?
I would probably say to get party support.
Except that
Which party? What?
Well, Connell's running as a Republican, right?
But running as a Republican in Rockford for anything is very difficult. I would have to say.
And
I would have to say to identify. I mean, if I was running as a Republican, I would want to make sure that people knew who was in control of things now, and who might be in control of running certain candidates. Because I mean, what's going on right now? You got everybody now is pretty much having to run against this PAC that is formed.
the Super PAC?
Yeah,
Pac-Man?
Pac-Man has to be.
Pac-Man.
Super PAC.
Right.
So what's the deal with the
What is-
Super
yeah,
PAC? We
who
talked
is-
a little about that last time. What is the deal? How much does this PAC have in it?
Well, as far as money,
Yeah.
I don't know. They claim that they will give up to $100,000 to political candidates that they feel are strong according to their plan.
My understanding was that they want people who at least purport to have no self-interest in the operation of Rockford. Is that a fair summary of what they
Operation
said?
of Rockford, meaning
Basically, they don't have political ties that would encumber them to vote or to act in certain ways or to support certain things. That was what I took from it, from the summary in the Register Star of what their position is. Because isn't the PAC, their tagline was something to the effect of they want candidates that aren't self-interested?
Yep.
okay.
Caleb, is that fair? Have
That's
I got
what
this
I.
fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Is this
Well, yeah, that was the message. But I mean, self-interested how? I mean, if you're not somewhat self-interested, why would you even run? It's.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, I'm not talking about not getting paid. I just mean whatever. I don't know whatever angles they are trying to avoid. But I mean, so your position is that the PAC is going to support who?
for what are we talking about?
Mayor.
I believe the PAC is going to support Rudy Valdez, and I believe those machinations are already underway. I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think if you're a Democrat, I would hope Tom McNamara is looking at the the areas of Rockford that he may have been able to win, that might be shifted over to that are Democrat, that might be shifted over to this Republican PAC, which, from what I understand, the 5th Ward is going to back Rudy, and a lot of the 11th Ward is going to back Rudy, and these are all Democrats over there. I mean, it's going to be a tough deal.
All right, refresh our recollections, because the ward map for Rockford is so carved up. Where's the 5th?
5th Ward's largely west side. It's Vanita Hervey's ward. It used to be Victory Bell's ward, who is really, expect him, I'm going to predict, expect him to stump real hard for Rudy.
Okay, expect Victory Bell to stump real hard for Rudy. You heard it here.
Which really does a number on the current alderman, who he kind of groomed over there.
All right, and then the 11th Ward.
The 11th Ward is Karen Elliott's ward. Which
No, wait, go back a second, though. So you're saying you don't expect that Hervey will support
I do not.
Rudy?
I'm not going to put words in.
Well, no. All right, you're not her, but just
I
you're
do
as a
not,
guess.
As my guess, no.
Okay, so you're saying the Victory Ward is going to basically undercut the person that he groomed for the position, and that and
Maybe he's already done that. I don't know.
you don't
I'm going to
know.
have to ask him. He's a good guy to come on.
Well, we should have him on.
Sure,
I'd love to have him on.
Yeah, so what?
He has a lot of history.
In general,
I only had
I
one
don't-
chance to meet him
yeah.
ever. He was a super nice guy.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I don't see this being a two-party system that's drawn right down the line. You're going to have a small group of Republicans that are going to run Democratic candidates, and I think that's exactly what's happening for mayor, which is going to put Tom McNamara in a very, I don't want to say precarious situation, but an unusual situation, because he's got to go up against people that are Democrats, voters. So, and then you have a 11th Ward Democrat who I don't think is who.
Okay, and yeah, let's get back to that. So the 11th Ward is where?
11th Ward is basically Midtown. I don't know where the boundaries are, but it basically butts right up against what is that? The south end of East 8 downtown.
Okay.
So it's
So 7th
Haight
Street,
Village.
the Charles Street curve, Haight Village.
And
Okay.
the Democrat over there, Karen Elliott, has been, what is this? This might be her 3rd term, running for her 3rd term. From what it looks like, I don't know if she's going to get a lot of labor support. And that area right now is ripe for development. It's, they just put a new road in over there on the upper 7th Street. So it's going to be an interesting election cycle in that a lot of Democrats, it looks like to me, are running to traditionally Republican donors, if you will, because their party's bailing on them for whatever reason.
Okay, and maybe we can all dig deeper on that on another episode,
dig
or,
deeper.
or drill deeper. We can't
Drill deeper. We can't say-
really dig
So
deeper.
I mean, maybe this
Only
is
Channel 13 can dig deeper. We can drill deeper. We could scrounge around more.
Scrounge around.
maybe this is just happening because the
Whatever we
two-party
do.
system in general is flawed. I don't know.
Okay. All right, so in the 11th Ward, we've got Karen Elliott versus Tuffy Quinones.
I believe he's running. I heard some things there, and there might be 2 other people running. There's no Republican running. So as of this show, as of today,
Who are these other 2 people?
I do not know. Oh, well, as a matter of fact, I heard Lisa Palomino, the publisher of the Market Street Press, has declared. So you might want to call her.
Okay. All right.
But the primary over there is it might be a 4-way primary now.
Why are people choosing to do that?
I don't know.
I mean, that just strikes me as silly. I mean, especially if you don't have a political history that you have to account for, that you've always run as party X and now you're running as party Y. Like, well, why'd you do that? I mean, if you just have kind of a clean slate, why wouldn't you just go run in the other party and avoid the primary at least? Especially when there are already now there's more than one person that you'd have to face off with in the primary.
So to run as an independent,
Well, no, run as a Republican rather than a Democrat.
sure, you can do that.
Why not? Well, why aren't people doing that? Like, why does everybody? I'd rather say I'm going to be the only Republican, and then you 3 Democrats fight it out and cannibalize each other, and then I'll be over here
fight
as
it
the
off
only
and-
Republican.
yeah,
Because
then
at
I'll-
least that's one less election for me to have to fight about. No, is that have I got that not right? As
No,
a system?
I think it's great, and I think there's people in town from a political contribution standpoint who love to look at it like that and give a little money over here and give a little money over here and say, no, whoever kills whoever dies in the sword fight, that's who I'm going to back. I mean, that's been going on in politics forever. Hand out swords and see who wins. Parties aside. So as long as long as in this case, what I see is I see phase 2 of the current administration really trying to take hold of what's going on in Rockford, because they, it's
You alluded to this last time, and I think you referred to Rudy Valdez as phase 2 of the current administration. Am I right? That's what you mean?
well, I see evidence of that.
Okay.
I mean,
and
I'm not
what
saying
evidence
that,
are you talking about?
well, evidence of the PAC, who's involved in the PAC, that kind of thing. I'm not trying to discredit Rudy. I mean, he's got his own agenda.
No, I'm not. And to me, saying an extension of the current administration is not necessarily a good or bad thing. I mean,
Yeah.
Like everybody, everything, every job. I mean, certain people have pluses and minuses, and to say it in an extension of the current administration to me isn't necessarily a pejorative phrase.
No, and I don't want to come off like I'm making one. To me though, it looks like the following the money. It looks like it's the PAC. It's now the Transform Rockford group, which is now includes some different folks, influential folks that may not have been involved in the beginning, that have pretty strong ties to the current city hall staff. And if that's the case, then you're looking at a group of Republicans that are largely running a Democrat for mayor. That's what I see.
Okay. Well, and
was it by design? Did Rudy and these guys get together in some secret room? I don't know. I think Rudy wants to get support like anyone else would.
all right. No, I mean, as a candidate, you want support from whatever corner you can get it from, I would assume, within reason. So, yeah, and I don't think there's any kind of wackadoodles giving out money in Rockford, at least not in large amounts. So,
They haven't given any to me.
well,
I live right there in the good old 11th Ward.
James, you could be the Republican candidate.
I could be.
You could be. But you're so tied up with This Week in Rockford being a frequent guest that you don't have
See,
time for
my luck would be I would win.
that.
And then
Oh,
I would
boy.
look at this, massive schedule of commitments to be at, city council meetings, and
Then you couldn't come on the This Week in
probably
Rockford,
be a
right?
complete,
Well,
conflict.
No, he could come on. He'd come on every week. It would be the 11th Ward Report
Sure.
with Alderman Hagerty.
Yes.
But that does not appear to be in the cards from what you've said. So
Over there is a tough one because you have a lot of folks who have been around for a long time over there. It's an influx of it's cultural diversity in the 11th Ward. A lot of it is a lot of crime.
is it just cultural, or is it economic diversity too,
I
or
think it is,
a lot of diverse, different kinds of diversity?
And I think it's very ripe for some good things to happen. It's a big ward.
So we've
Yes.
we've got 4 mayoral candidates. We've got Alderman Ellier, the incumbent, versus Tuffy Quinones. What other hot races are there?
Geez, that's a good point. What other hot races are there? Geez, do you know anybody?
I think that's it so far. I haven't heard of.
What do
No
you
other
think?
throwdowns going? I
No
don't know.
other throwdowns, yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think the 11th
Nobody
Ward,
tells me
I
anything.
think the 11th Ward is big. I think that's just because of development. And, if I was a developer, I would want votes on the city council in areas that I had, projects going. So to me right now, in Rockford in general, that's the 3rd Ward and the 11th Ward. So keep an eye on that.
All right. 3rd Ward, Chad Thunberg is going to run uncontested, it seems.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that... I don't know much about Mr. Thunberg. I've met him. He's a very nice guy.
Yeah.
We could
I
have him
don't
on.
know him.
Apparently, he doesn't have to have a face-off or throwdown with anyone, but we could have him on just to explain what
Mm-hmm.
he's doing.
So there will be no Democrat running there. We got to find somebody.
Well, wait a minute. I'm not suggesting we start finding people just
We need
to
a
just to encourage
throwdown, man.
throwdowns.
No,
I-
arm wrestle here. I don't know.
No, if Thunberg's competent, he's competent. All right.
Right,
what-
no, I don't know the guy. He's got a pretty good, very impressive advisory council. I don't know if are you on it.
Who's on the advisory council? I don't know.
Anybody
I
and
don't know.
everyone is on it. I mean, obviously the Thunberg family of doctors and dentists.
Lawyer, James.
Yes, I believe Dave Anderson from Anderson Packaging might be on there. You can pull it up. You can probably find it on there. But yeah, pretty impressive.
All right.
So I mean, support to me is where it's all about in Rockford politics.
Okay.
So I mean, if I could get somebody to buy me a stick of gum as a candidate, maybe I'd run.
We'll see if we
We'll
can
see.
arrange that. Maybe even a whole pack.
Yes.
A whole pack. I think you should do a Hagerty's Gym episode at City Council.
You sure? I could probably pull that off. It's going to have to be before the current administration leaves, because I think at this point Patrick Hayes would allow that.
You think
The next
Patrick
guy
Hayes
probably
would allow
wouldn't.
that? Yeah.
The next guy might.
Patrick's pretty cool. Patrick's a cool guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that I'm comfortable enough to ask. I mean, it would be a little bit. I mean, from what he's told me, it would be a welcome reprieve than some of the antics that go on there every week now.
All right. Well, we're going to look forward to
He's another guy.
Hagerty's,
Have him on.
Hagerty's Gym episode. Well, Patrick, I think I'm guessing he's going to be busy wrapping things up. Plus, he strikes me as kind of a private person, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I'd say the same of myself. Despite having this show where Caleb wanted to have a show, and I said,
Yeah,
I guess I should help you, Caleb. I'll
And I
come on your
appreciate
show.
that. Jeff
Otherwise,
is
I'm a
helping me out with this show.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted
Otherwise,
to...
I'm a private person.
Are you?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Me too.
Kind of, yeah. Other than having an interweb show. So, all right. So that's it. We'll drill deeper. We'll scrounge harder.
That's it? We had nothing else?
Well, no, on candidates.
Oh, candidates. Yeah,
we'll make
see,
sure
I'm
we're
not-
not missing anybody, because if we're missing anybody, we'll round them up.
And I can
have them
only
on.
tell you what I see, and
Yeah.
it might be a home run. I mean, Brian Leggero might hit a home run, become the next mayor of Rockford. I don't know.
I
No, he
know.
wants it bad.
Well, no, this is going to be
Wants it bad.
Wanting it bad
No,
and actually...
after we have them all on, we're going to endorse one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to endorse one of them. Or we can each make endorsements, maybe, is another way to do it.
Yep.
And we'll argue among ourselves. We'll throw down, but not physically, because Hagerty's got the gym thing going, so he's obviously in way better shape than I am. But we'll have some type of throwdown between
I'm
us.
in shape for an out of shape guy.
Yeah, and I'm out
As
of
far
shape.
as out of shape
And I-
old guys go, I guess I'm in good
At the
shape.
other end of the spectrum, I'm out of shape for an out of shape guy, even. So we're just at opposite ends
So
of the spectrum.
we could really do something with this mayoral, with this debate forum here.
Oh, I'm absolutely serious.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to do it right in here,
Why
partially
not?
because of this echo. But all right, all that aside, next topic: Great Lakes Basin Railroad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
What is Caleb? What's going on with this?
Well, I hear it's a train cargo system that they're trying to build from around Ohio or Indiana, through detouring around Chicago, up around Boone and Winnebago counties, and going up towards Wisconsin. There's a lot of people with farmland that are upset about this. So
Okay, and they're upset because it's going to cleave up their farms,
exactly,
and there will be noise and pollution. I'm guessing they're saying, right?
all of the above.
Okay,
Yep.
great. I haven't paid a ton of attention to it, but I just saw all the stuff come up, so I thought I'd ask. It sounds like you've seen more. I've seen signs here in town. James, what do you know about it?
That seems to be right. A lot of blowback. It's part of a pretty big project. But, I don't know. I think people need to look at it from both sides. The Daily did a scathing opinion piece on it today.
Oh, scathing. Scathing as in scathing like that things shouldn't be allowed?
No, it was scathing to the
To the opponents?
to the opponents. Yes.
Really? It said it should be allowed.
Yes.
Interesting.
And it should be allowed because darn it, I said so.
Oh, okay.
And that's great, but and I think people have I don't want to say that they basically what we have here, in my opinion, the opponents are looking at this from a standpoint where I think most people do understand that. Yeah, I mean, in general, freight, rail is a largely a less economic detriment to, or as opposed to other things. But people don't forget about ethanol spills and things like that. I mean, Rockford paid out a lot of money for that when that happened. The ethanol spill killed all those fish, it burned all those people, wrecked all those houses. So, there's got to be some sort of compromise somewhere, as opposed to saying that this is going to happen and shut your mouth, which I think is what Mr. Sweeney's opinion was this morning.
Really?
Oh
All right.
yeah, he's
Here's the interesting thing. I look at it and I see stuff like this, and I think about eminent domain. I mean, the founding fathers They created eminent domain so that people couldn't hold out and impede public projects from occurring by basically being a stick-up artist and saying, well, you've got everybody else's property because you've gotten agreements with them or arrangements with them, but I'm going to stop this whole thing and you can't come across my property in the way that would make the most sense. I'm going to stop you from doing that, whether it be to get more money or just in a general premise, like the public good outweighs that personal property right. The problem I see a lot, though, is that we have, in the modern day, we have a lot of private enterprises that are capitalizing on relationships with the government to use eminent domain, essentially to get private property for other private parties' use and profit. Now, there's still an argument, though, that a railroad is a public service and accommodation of sorts, and there's all argument there, but it's just, to me, that one, I'll have to look more at it. It could go either way. Mm-hmm. I mean, to me, logically, as a matter of legal logic, it could go either way as far as, is it really right, is it really wrong? But, because, I mean, eminent domain exists, and it's not always fun to have your property taken, but on the other hand, it's there for a reason. We wouldn't have a lot of things without it. We probably wouldn't have interstate highways and things like that. But on the other hand, when you take the property for the use of another private enterprise rather than for true public use, and people even argue over what is true public use, is economic improvement or economic development for a community, is that true public use? I mean, at this point, that's pretty settled, that the answer to that is that's public enough. Whether the founding fathers would agree with that, well, that's a different question, but they're not here, and they're not on the Supreme Court of Illinois or the U.S., so it's, to me, those are always interesting things, but we'll follow.
We'll see what happens with it. It seems like it's going to be years and years before it's even, comes to fruition, though, right? I mean, they're already getting tons of pushback from it, so it's going to be a long time before it even happens. So,
wow. All right. So I think that concludes the big topics for this week.
Bigly. Big train.
Big league.
Bigly. Caleb says that Trump says big league.
I don't know.
I think that's
I
think that's what he means.
Oh.
I think he invented an adverb, and now he's
invented
it's his way to, it's his forum to get it,
Bigly.
Get into use. Bigly.
Well, I'm going to use it. I'm starting to use it right now.
I mean, you can.
You heard it here. Bigly.
Yeah.
I'm bringing Bigly back. Or I'm bringing, it wasn't really gone. He just
like gone.
Yeah.
Never existed.
It never went anywhere. It never.
All right.
Bigly.
All right. So just so I've got this straight, we've got to get the candidates on. We're going to have some debates, and then we're going to come to some conclusions. Mr. Hagerty is going to go to the Ice Hogs games this coming weekend.
Yeah.
So maybe we can have an Ice Hogs report whether or not he's able to make the next show. And Caleb, anything else? Parting thoughts?
I think that's good. We're excited to have these candidates on the show. So
We are. That'll be fun.
Are we going to talk about the building? I mean, this is a...
Oh, the building. The
major
Rockford Trust
building.
building. Yeah, let's wrap up with that. The Rockford Trust building was designed by Daniel Burnham.
Why are you laughing?
Architect.
How come you're laughing?
Daniel Burnham. No, I'm laughing because we were talking before about whether or not we should have like a Daniel Burnham type museum where there'd be like the hologram or holograph of Daniel Burnham speaking and saying, "Hi, everyone, I'm Daniel Burnham. I was the architect for the Rockford Trust building."
No, he's a famous architect.
Yeah,
He is, yeah. Did
He's
Chicago
famous in
World's
Chicago.
Fair
Yep.
stuff. Yeah, a lot of the
Okay,
buildings.
that's right.
He came up with the whole Chicago, a lot of the plan that got
wow.
laid out for
Yeah,
Chicago.
the city plan. Yeah.
City plan.
So yeah, that's he's a real deal as an architect. He designed this building. His firm worked on it. It was built in 1907.
Correct. Part of it
And
was
they built
built.
7 floors first, and then they added 4 onto the top. We are in the top of the whole thing, the 11th floor, other than the rooftop deck.
How many residential units will be in here?
There will be 62 residential units in this building, a mix of 1 and 2 bedrooms, and some studios that.
Right.
Are the studios, Caleb, are they true studios or some?
They're not true studios. They're more of a.
They still have a broken off
Yes.
bedroom.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kind of like in Chicago, they'd call that a
Convertible.
convertible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Convertible. So I guess they're pretty much like those convertibles. So
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, we're going to have tenant lounges on certain floors. And In interest of disclosure, Caleb and I both work with Urban Equity Properties, and we're related to this project. So don't want you to think we're shills. We're not trying to sell anything, but we just thought it's an interesting place. The history of the building is fascinating. If you go in the basement, there's vaults, several bank vaults. It's funny.
Al Capone's vaults.
Well, we
That's
heard
the
about
rumor.
that. So we were going to do an episode like Geraldo Rivera. And James, we're going to send you in with a camera and a microphone and
To get,
break through some walls and
Find a wine bottle. Or,
something really
I
exciting.
wonder where that is. That wine bottle that Geraldo
found.
It's got to be in the Smithsonian or somewhere now.
Yeah, it should be with Dorothy's ruby red slippers.
Yes.
Did you see that campaign, the ruby red slipper campaign?
Mayoral.
No, the ruby red slipper campaign. They're concerned at the Smithsonian because Dorothy's ruby red slippers from The Wizard of Oz are the pairs that Judy Garland actually wore, because there were 8 pairs made, and of course they're just dyed shoes with red sequins on them. The sequins are deteriorating.
Really?
Yeah, after all these years. So they've launched a Kickstarter campain to refurbish the
They
shoes.
should have just sprayed some Scotch Guard on there and been done with it.
No, I-
$5.99.
Well,
Problem solved.
Haggerty, can we count you in then on the thing? That way we'll count you in for $6, $6.50 with
Okay,
tax,
for all.
$7. We're going to count you in for $7 on the Kickstarter, and then when they get them redone, Haggerty's contribution, the $7, will
Scotch.
be used to Scotch Guard them so that we don't have to spend another $100,000 or whatever it is.
I mean, $100,000 on a pair of shoes is really nothing to them.
I don't know if it's $100,000, but wait though, they don't charge admission
They don't. Wow.
at the Smithsonian. No, all those buildings you can wander in all of them.
When I worked at the Rock River Times, I used to read the Smithsonian magazine. It came every, I think, week or a month. I don't know. I always stole it and brought it home and read it and brought it back.
You stole
before
it?
Frank could see
So
I was
that's what
missing.
happened. That's what happened. Okay, now we know. All right. Now we're getting to the bottom of this.
the
So
bottom
we're
of
drilling deeper.
Yep, we're drilling
We're
deeper.
drilling deeper on what happened.
I may still have some old Smithsonian magazines I forgot to return.
You should get those
You
back
should-
to Frank.
yes.
I should.
He may
Should
want
return
those. So,
those.
all right. Anyway, so the trust building, we expect people living in here imminently.
Beautiful.
Caleb is taking applications. But anyway,
Damn.
that's a whole separate story, but it is a fascinating building. Just to even come take a look.
I can aspire to this. Maybe someday I'll be able to say I live in the trust building. Because I'm aspiring to be someone again.
James, you
There
are
you go.
someone.
Yes, James.
You always have been, and you definitely are now. You are the only recurring guest. You're the Alec Baldwin
But
of This Week in
I
Rockford.
do not look like Chris D'Souza, though.
No, you don't look like Chris D'Souza, though. Caleb does.
See, that's I'm telling you.
All right. Well, we're going to have Chris D'Souza on, and we're going to put them side by side. And in fact, we're going to let the people who have seen the
Decide.
episodes figure out who is who. We won't let them name names, and then we'll just have conversations and
We should actually have D'Souza on for half of the show.
and see if anybody notices that.
And then
it's
we'll
not
switch,
Caleb.
yeah.
And then he'll just come in.
Yeah.
Caleb can come in.
We'll just
and-
substitute Caleb in after the break, right? Yeah. Well, here's how they'll know that Chris D'Souza is not Caleb really, because Chris D'Souza probably won't espouse ill feelings towards Cubs fans. But
No, he won't.
How do you know
He
that?
might.
He
I
might.
don't
Yeah.
know.
How do you know that?
it's a
Well,
guess.
How can you be so sure about that?
I would think he'd be excited to see the Cubs doing well. Because even to me, like, even if you're not a fan, you look and go, okay, we're all around here. I want those people to do well.
How are they doing?
Oh, all right. One final update, and then we'll wrap this thing up. All right.
And
Survey says, all right, any predictions?
last time I wore a hat, they lost.
Oh, I want that
See,
again.
Cubs fans crap right there.
Well, thank you, Siri. That was great. Siri gave me last night's score again. That wasn't really helpful, even though she'd already given me tonight's score once. It is still Cubs 1, Dodgers nothing at the top of the 4th.
Big game.
Yeah, it's
Very
slow.
pivotal.
It's just me.
It's
It's
big
slow
league.
moving.
What
It's
they
like
call it.
Big league.
Big
Big
league.
league,
Big
yeah.
league.
Big league. It's
Big
slow.
league.
It's
Slowly.
it's
big
slow
league.
moving. Or is it just me?
It's big league.
I mean, they've only covered 2 innings.
Yeah.
And we've jabbered for like a long time now. All right.
Enough jabbering.
Well, that wraps it up. That was This Week in Rockford, episode 1. We'll see you back next week. Hopefully we find somebody we can trick into coming on the show even after they see this. But
And Jake the Snake will be back.
Jake the Snake will be back, so the sound will probably be way better. And James Hagerty, thank you for coming on. We can find you at rockfordadvocate.com.
Yes. If you look hard enough, you can find me there.
No. We'll just
Lurking.
Working, drilling, deeper.
Lurking.
Lurking.
Like Willie the Watchman.
Like Willie the Watchman, lurking. Willie the Watchman. Remember,
I
show
think-
notes. Check our show notes and check episode 0.
Maybe
show
that's
notes.
James.
No, it's not me. I'm trying to find out who it is. It's got to be Jesus, but again,
He denies.
he denies.
We'll see.
Well, we'll have him on the show, and we'll subject him to the lie detector
Sure.
test.
Or the
right here.
waterboarding.
No, we're gonna do like we'll do like a who does that, like Montel or
Oh,
who does that has lie detectors like
Mari.
Does Jerry Springer still exist? I think Mari Povich.
Yeah, I think he does.
All right,
He
we're gonna
goes-
hook.
And doesn't he go, like he pulls it out and he goes in it?
All right, we're going to hook Jesus Correa up to a lie detector, and if that doesn't work, if he's still not admitting it, then we'll hook him up to other things, but we'll see what happens.
and we'll try to pin an illegitimate pregnancy on him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll ask him, and we'll take some DNA.
You
and-
are the father.
of an owl. All right. All right. That
The
requires-
Watchman is the father.
That requires knowledge of episode 0, so everybody has to go back and listen now. All right.
All righty.
Thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week at thisweekinrockford.com. Thank you.